accelerate. When we press the accelerator of the car, speed of the car increases. And when we release the accelerator, speed decreases. So whenever there is change in speed or velocity, the object accelerates. The rate with which there is change in velocity is acceleration. So it is defined as the rate of change of velocity with time. Change of velocity. So we have change in velocity. Yes, rate of change of velocity means speed with which velocity is changing. Okay, where we have the term rate. Wherever we have the term rate, we divide the expression by t. If it is rate of change of velocity, then it is change in velocity upon time. If it is rate of change of momentum, then it is change in momentum upon time. ठीक है, जहां पे आ गया ना कितनी रेट पे स्पीड चेंज हो रही है, तो स्पीड कितनी चेंज हो रही है डिवाइडेड बाय टाइम. किस रेट पे मोमेंटम चेंज हो रहा है, तो मोमेंटम जो जितना चेंज हुआ डिवाइडेड बाय टाइम. ठीक है, तो रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ वेलोसिटी का क्या मतलब है, v माइनस यू, चेंज इन वेलोसिटी divided by time. Okay, is acceleration. So if we assume, suppose initially the object is moving with some initial velocity u. So u is the initial velocity of the object. Initial velocity is the velocity where at the time when we start observing the object. Suppose जैसे कोई नीचे से गाड़ी जा रही है, पीछे से आ रही है, आपको नहीं पता कितनी स्पीड से आ रही है, बट वो पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम जिसमें आपने उसको ऑब्जर्व करना स्टार्ट किया, उस पॉइंट पे जिसपे आप उसको ऑब्जर्व करना शुरू कर रहे हो, तब उसकी वेलोसिटी कितनी है, वो उसकी इनिशियल वेलोसिटी होती है. ठीक है, और आप उसको ऑब्जर्व करते आ रहे हो, 1 सेकंड गया, 2 सेकंड्स गए, 3 सेकंड्स गए, 4 सेकंड्स गए. आफ्टर 5 सेकंड्स you have observed that the speed of the car has been changed. आफ्टर मतलब 3 4 5 सेकंड जितना भी आपने ऑब्जर्व किया कि उसकी गाड़ी की स्पीड चेंज हो गई है, तो इसका मतलब वो क्या हो गई, एक्सेलरेट हो गई. इसका मतलब जो गाड़ी का ड्राइवर है उसने या तो एक्सेलरेटर पे प्रेस किया है या उसको रिलीज किया है, और जिससे उसकी स्पीड चेंज हो गई. रिलीज करेगा स्पीड विल डिक्रीज, प्रेस करेगा देन स्पीड विल इंक्रीज. ठीक है, एंड स्पीड प्लस डायरेक्शन इज वेलोसिटी. स्पीड प्लस डायरेक्शन इज वेलोसिटी. ठीक है, तो वेलोसिटी भी अकॉर्डिंगली इंक्रीज डिक्रीज होगी. if there is change in speed, there is change in velocity as well, because velocity is speed plus direction. है ना, स्पीड और डायरेक्शन में से किसी भी एक क्वांटिटी को अगर आप चेंज करोगे तो वेलोसिटी विल चेंज ऑटोमेटिकली. ठीक है, so if initial velocity of the object is u and it attains a final velocity v in time t, suppose the object takes time t seconds for this change to occur, then we can write acceleration a as final velocity minus initial velocity upon time taken. So final velocity is v, initial velocity is u, and time taken is t. So formula for acceleration is a is equal to v minus u by t. ठीक है, how do we measure velocity? What is the unit of velocity? Meter per second. So we have this numerator in meter per second and denominator is in seconds, because SI unit of time is second. What is the SI unit of time? It is second. So meter per second upon second is meter per second square. ठीक है, because you can see that it's a change in velocity and velocity is a vector quantity. So is the acceleration, because velocity is vector quantity and therefore acceleration is also vector quantity. Okay, please write this. देखो ये इसकी बिकॉज वेलोसिटी जो है इसकी यूनिट होती है मीटर पर सेकेंड, इनिशियल वेलोसिटी मीटर पर सेकेंड, टाइम इज इन सेकेंड. Okay, so your result is in meter per second upon second. So it is meter per second square. So this is the SI unit of acceleration. It is a vector quantity. Acceleration is a vector quantity. Vector quantity means it has both the magnitude as well as direction. Okay. मेरे ड्रॉअर को ओपन करो बेटा, उसमें you'll find a kit. देखना पड़ेगा, ढूंढना पड़ेगा कौन सा पेन चलता है उसमें. जल्दी करो, हाँ इसमें से कोई भी निकालना नहीं चाहता. Okay, now what is acceleration? Acceleration is final velocity minus initial velocity upon time taken. Okay, हो सकता है कि ऑब्जेक्ट की स्पीड डिक्रीज हो विद टाइम, ये भी पॉसिबिलिटी है कि स्पीड टाइम के साथ इंक्रीज हो, और ये भी पॉसिबिलिटी है कि स्पीड चेंज ही ना हो, है ना. So we have three different cases here. So case one is if v is greater than u. V is greater than u means final velocity is greater than initial velocity. What does it mean? That speed of the object, velocity of the object is increased after time t. So if the velocity of the object is increased, v is greater than u, then whatever you will get is a positive number, is a positive quantity. So acceleration is positive in this case. If v is greater than u, acceleration is positive. And if v is equal to u, then if there is no change in velocity, then no acceleration. Same value में से same को minus करोगे, what will you get? 0. If v is 20 meter per second and u is also 20 meter per second, what will you get? Subtraction is 0. Okay, तो आपका v minus u जो है वो 0 हो जाएगा. And if v is less than u, then speed of the object, velocity of the object is decreased after time t. So final velocity is smaller than initial velocity. So we are subtracting a smaller number from a bigger number. Then what will get? A negative number. So acceleration is negative in this case. Okay, now listen to me very carefully before writing. See, if acceleration is positive, we say that the object is accelerating. The word accelerating is used. Okay, object is accelerating. But what if there is no change in velocity? If there is no change in velocity, means object is moving with the same velocity. Its velocity is not changing at all. Then we say that object is moving with uniform motion. How is the motion? It's uniform. Object is covering equal distance in equal intervals of time. Object is covering equal, there is equal change in position in equal intervals of time. Equal displacement in equal time. So object is moving with uniform velocity, we can say, or uniform motion. Uniform velocity means constant velocity. Non-uniform velocity means variable velocity. If we say uniform velocity, velocity is constant. Velocity change नहीं हो रही है. And if we say non-uniform velocity, then it is variable. Velocity is changing. And velocity change होती कब है? कब होती है velocity change? When the object covers unequal displacement in equal time. See, if the object is covering every time in 10 meters in 1 second, next 10 meter in another 1 second, next 10 meter in another 1 second, then when you'll find speed, velocity of the object, you'll get 10 meter per second every time. Distance upon time hota hai, displacement upon time hota hai, right? If you're finding speed, it's distance upon time. If you're finding velocity, it is displacement upon time. So every time when you divide these quantities, you'll get 10 meter per second. Here also you'll get 10 meter per second. Here as well you'll get 10 meter per second, right? So if the object is covering equal displacement in equal time, then every time we are getting the same velocity, means the object is moving with uniform velocity. Okay. So if there is no acceleration, it means that the object is moving with uniform velocity. Okay. So what if v is less than u? If v is less than u, there is change in velocity. There is change in velocity. Yes, velocity is decreasing. Velocity is decreasing and acceleration is negative. So we use the term retardation for this. We say car is retarding. Okay, car is retarding. What does it mean? That velocity of the car is decreasing. If we say bus is retarding, velocity of the bus is decreasing. Okay, so retardation hai ye. And another word is deceleration. Deceleration or negative acceleration, these are the terms that we use. We say decelerating, it has negative acceleration, it is decelerating. And sometimes we get a car is retarding at the rate of 5 meter per second square. Meter per second square is the unit. of acceleration. Yes, meter per second square is the unit of acceleration. So if we get something like this, a car is retarding at the rate of 5 meter per second square, then what is the value of A? Easy question. Plus 5 meter per second square or minus 5 meter per second? Why minus? Because it is retarding. Okay. If in a question, see, in the question it is not mentioned anywhere that you have to take the negative sign. But it should be clear that if the car is retarding, its acceleration is negative, though it is not written anywhere in the question, still you will take A as minus 5 meter per second square because car is retarding with at the rate of 5 meter per second square. So you will take minus. Okay. Even if it is not given, even if it is not mentioned, this negative sign is nowhere in the question, but the term retardation is there. तो वहीं से ही आपको पकड़ना है उसको. ठीक है. तो फिजिक्स में जो अभी ये स्टार्ट कर रहे हो, फिजिक्स अभी स्टार्ट में कर रहे हो, अच्छे से भी नहीं कर रहे हो, बहुत नीचे हो अभी. फिजिक्स की वर्टिकल लाइन हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइन सीख रहे हो आप. छोटे होते तो हमें ये सिखाते हैं ना, हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइंस, वर्टिकल लाइंस, स्लैंट लाइंस, बस ये कर रहे हो आप. ठीक है. तो ये आप देखो, एक वर्ड, एक छोटा सा वर्ड हमारे पूरे न्यूमेरिकल को चेंज कर सकता है. अगर हम +5 करेंगे हमारा न्यूमेरिकल रॉन्ग हो जाएगा, लेकिन अगर हम -5 करेंगे तो वो करेक्ट होगा. क्वेश्चन क्या है, वर्ड क्या है, रिटार्डिंग. उस रिटार्डिंग वर्ड से ए की वैल्यू -5 हो गई, वो हमने वहीं से पकड़ना है उसको. ये छोटी सी चीज है. ठीक है. डन. एनीथिंग यू वांट टू आस्क? नो, प्लीज राइट दिस. A train starting from a railway station and moving with uniform acceleration. Uniform acceleration, constant acceleration. The word uniform means constant. Attains a speed of 40 kilometers per hour in 10 minutes. See, we have this one thing here. A train starting from a railway station. So initially, train was at rest. Initially train was at rest. Railway station से start हुई है ना, मतलब पहले रुकी हुई थी. Then what is the initial velocity of the train? What is the initial velocity of the train? It's 0. So write initial velocity u is equal to 0. Final velocity v is equal to 40 kilometers per hour. Okay, now this is in 40 kilometers per hour, so we need to convert this into meter per second first. Okay, so what should I do? 5 by 18 से multiply कर देंगे. So 5 by 18 into 40 meter per second. 2 9s are 18, 2 2s are 4, 0. So we will get 25s are 100 by 9 meter per second. And time is given. Time is 10 minutes. So 10 minutes is equal to 600 seconds. Next, write to find. So we have to find acceleration. Acceleration is p minus u by, put the values. V is 100 by 9. U is 0 and T is 600. So we'll get 100 by 9 into 600. Answer is 1 by 54 meter per second square. And the ball was thrown up. Okay, its velocity was 19.6 meter per second. After 1 second, its velocity becomes 9.8 meter per second. After 2 seconds, it reaches the maximum height and there its velocity is 0. And it comes down from there. Again, after 3 seconds, see, in 1 second, it is somewhere in the middle. With a speed of 9.8 meter per second, it is moving up. And at the highest point, its velocity becomes 0. It is coming down now. After 3 seconds, 1 plus 1 plus 2. समझ रहे हो? 1 plus 1 plus 2. 3 seconds. Again, its velocity is 9.8. And when this person gets the ball, then its velocity is 19.6 meter per second. The same velocity with which it was thrown out. See, velocity remains the same if there are no external forces, there are no dissipative forces acting on the ball, there are no resistive forces acting on the ball. But if there are resistive dissipative forces acting on the ball, then in that case, velocity may change. Okay? जैसे इसमें तो ये हो रहा है ना कि 19.6 की स्पीड से फेंका और 19.6 की स्पीड से कैच हाथ में आ गई, ऊपर डिक्रीज हुई, फिर मैक्सिमम पॉइंट पे 0 हुई, फिर इंक्रीज हुई और फिर 19.6 की स्पीड से नीचे. लेकिन हमेशा ऐसे नहीं होता. अगर डेसिपेटिव फोर्सेस हैं, रेजिस्टिव फोर्सेस हैं, एयर रेजिस्टेंस है, देयर नंबर ऑफ फैक्टर्स व्हिच आर रिस्पांसिबल. अगर वो उस पे एक्ट हो रहे हैं तो उस केस में हो सकता है स्लाइट चेंज हो, वेलोसिटी एकदम एग्जैक्टली ये ना आए बट नियरली ये आए. ठीक है. नाउ वी हैव अ क्वेश्चन. A bus decreases its speed from 80 kilometers per hour to 60 kilometers per hour in 5 seconds. Find the acceleration of the bus. See, how will you write? First, always write the things which are given to you. Okay, so first write given in a good handwriting. Number 1, initial speed or initial velocity, we can say. Initial velocity of the bus. We denote initial velocity by the letter U, and it is 80 kilometers per hour. This kilometer per hour is not the SI unit. It is not the SI unit. So we need to convert this into SI unit first. And what is the SI unit of speed? Meter per second. So we need to convert this kilometer per hour into meter per second. How will you convert? 5 by 18 से मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे. करके देखें. 5 by 18 into 80 meter per second. And one more thing, speed of the bus is decreasing. Decreasing means there is retardation. There is retardation in the bus. So acceleration that you will get should be negative. If you are not getting negative value, it means you have done something wrong in the calculation. Okay. Second, final velocity of the bus is denoted by V and it is 60 kilometer per hour. Again, we'll convert this into meter per second. 5 by 18 into 60. What will you get? 2 9s are 18. 2 4s are 8 0. So it's 200 by 9 meter per second. And here 6 3s are 18. 6 10s are 60. So we'll get 50 by 3 meter per second. Third quantity which is given to us is time. Time is 5 seconds. To find Next, write to find acceleration. So this is the right way of writing the solutions. Okay. Whenever you get this question in exam, you're supposed to write it like this one. Next, write solution. We have to find acceleration. Next, write solution. Now you will write the formula first as A is equal to V minus U by T. Now put the values here. V is 50 by 3. U is 200 by 9. And time is 5 seconds. Okay, take the LCM. You'll get 9 into 5. And 3 3s are 9. 53s are 150 minus 200. What will you get? Minus 50 divided by 45. Okay. Or this is 10 by 9. So it is minus 10 by 9 meter per second square. Is the unit. Yes. Now we can write this in decimal. It's minus 9 ones are 9. You'll get remainder as 1. Again, 1 0, 9 ones are 9, 9 ones are 9. It's 1.11 minus 1.11 meter per second square. Acceleration is negative. Bus is retarding. Starting from a stationary position. Starting from a stationary position means what is the value of initial velocity? 0. Starting from a stationary position, Rahul pedals his bicycle to attain a velocity of 6 meter per second in 30 seconds. Okay. Starting from a stationary position, Rahul pedals his bicycle to attain a velocity of 6 meter per second in 30 seconds. So there is acceleration because there is change in velocity, right? Then he applies brakes. So he applies brakes, so velocity will decrease such that velocity of the bicycle comes down to 4 meter per second. So on applying brakes, velocity decreases to 4 meter per second. Let's take this as V dash. Okay. In next 5 seconds, let's इसको ले लेते हैं T dash. Calculate the acceleration of the bicycle in both the cases. So in the first case, you can see there is increase in velocity. While in the second case, we have decrease in velocity. Yes. In the first case, we have increase in velocity, and in the second case, we have decrease in velocity. So when we have increase in velocity, then acceleration will be positive. And if we have decrease in velocity, then acceleration will be negative. So we have two different cases. So this is case 1 and this is case 2. Okay. In the first case, what is the initial velocity? It is 0. Final velocity is 6 meter per second. Time is 30 seconds. So we can easily find acceleration using the relation A is equal to V minus U by T. Yes? Do it. In the case 2, second case, what is the initial velocity in the second case? Initial velocity is V. Initial velocity is V. Because for the second case is this, right? We'll consider this as our initial velocity and this as our final velocity. Okay, so v is the initial velocity, it is 6 meter per second. And final velocity is v dash, it is 4 meter per second. Time is t dash, yes, t dash is 5 seconds. So we can find acceleration. Let acceleration be a dash. Okay. So a dash is equal to final velocity is v dash minus initial velocity is v, time is t dash. Now put the values and get the answer. Okay. So uniform acceleration and non-uniform acceleration. Okay. The word uniform means constant. If acceleration is constant, and non-uniform acceleration means acceleration is not constant, acceleration is varying, it is variable. Okay. So when is acceleration constant? When? When the body is at rest. No. Where is the remote? So when is acceleration constant? Dekho, what is acceleration? It is v minus u upon t. So if there is equal change in velocity in equal time, then acceleration is constant. If every time velocity changes by equal amount in equal time, then acceleration is constant. Okay, I'll explain you in detail, don't worry. And for example, the motion of a freely falling body. So when an object falls freely under the action of gravity, then its acceleration is constant. G, the value of acceleration is 9.8 meter per second square. Okay, the motion of a bicycle going down the slope of a road. When the rider is not pedaling and air resistance is negligible, then also acceleration is constant. Next is non-uniform acceleration. Non-uniform acceleration means acceleration is not constant, it is changing. So if the velocity changes by unequal amount in equal intervals of time, then acceleration is non-uniform acceleration. For example, motion of a car on a crowded road. So sometimes the speed increases, okay, and sometimes it decreases. But the increase and decrease in velocity is not regulated by time. समझ रहे हो क्या? देखिए वेलोसिटी में जो इंक्रीज होगा या वेलोसिटी में जो डिक्रीज होगा वो हर बार इक्वल इंक्रीज इक्वल टाइम में नहीं होगा या इक्वल डिक्रीज इक्वल टाइम में नहीं होगा. देखना बेटा कौन है. ठीक है. कभी कभी वेलोसिटी में हो सकता है ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो कम टाइम में और कभी कम इंक्रीज हो ज्यादा टाइम में. I'll explain you in detail, don't worry.